Shake jab, here we go. That's it. One, shake. That's it. One, shake. That's it. Step two. Step three. That's it. Again. Jab to the bottom. That's it. Hold that again. That's it.
Hello everybody, it's myself LL alongside Tunde, and this is the TBK podcast. Today we're going to talk about the Bronze Bomber. He seems to have made an appearance again after being on a long hiatus in the Himalayan mountains, you know, looking within himself and trying to become one with himself again. And we've seen some training footage of Deontay Wilder with Malik Scott. And I must say, Wilder looks sharp. What did you make of it, Sunday?
Listen, I I've never really been a fan of Wilder's fundamentals or lack of them. But
and sorry. Before we start, do not refer to the man as Beyonce. We are going to be respectful today. Yeah. No AJ fanboyism going on here right now. We're going to be respectful of all fighters. Yeah.
Listen, I said Wilder, didn't I? I didn't say anything else, did I? But yeah, like he looked quite sharp. He looked quite sharp. It's obvious that they've sort of like building a relationship. I still don't like what he did to Mark Breland, but it is what it is. You know, boxers change trainers all the time. But he looked good. He looked quick. I did think that Malik Scott was sort of like telegraphing the impact of Wilder's punches.
Yeah, that snap, innit? Like he went Deontay. I can almost imagine, like, you know, just like deep, scary music playing and that. Wow,
you understand?
You know, hits the pads like Ivan Drago. Yeah,
like I'm thinking, nah, what's going on? But nah, he looked sharp. He looked quick. He looked sharp. I think more than anything, he looked motivated. So I'm quite keen to see what his next fight will be, who will be against, and it, you know, to be honest, it'll be good for boxing to have Wilder back in you know, in the scheme of things. I think he's definitely much needed in the conversation, and we'll just see what happens. But he looks sharp. What did you think?
I mean, you know, for all the criticisms that I've leveled at Wilder, with you know, his performance against Tyson Fury, you know, with the negotiations between him and AJ and, you know, all that kind of stuff, I was actually happy to see him doing boxing stuff. Do you know what I mean? I was actually happy to see him on the pads. I was actually excited to see Wilder on the pads. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I think he is good for boxing, and sometimes you don't realize what you have until it's gone. You know, regardless of what I think about Wilder as a boxer, and you know, like you said about his fundamentals and stuff like that, we all need a good hill. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah, and so whether if you're a Deontay Wilder fan and you see Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua as the bad guy, that's fine. If you're more lean towards the Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury side of things and you see Wilder as a bad guy, that's fine. Both sides are needed to create the entertainment for us fans and for us, you know, for us fans to have these type of discussions. And I'll be honest, it hurts me to say it, I think I've kind of missed Wilder.
I wouldn't go that far, but
I agree.
Hey, what's happening, bro?
I agree. The sport, listen, regardless of his antics, the sport needs him. Heavyweight boxing needs him.
Yeah.
I would say that, you know, like, and I did say that at the beginning that, you know, boxing does, or heavyweight boxing does need him, but I'm not going to go too far and say that, you know, he's no. But
So,
but I would like to see him in the mix again. I would like to see him in the conversations again. I would like to see him, actually get into the big fights and stuff. I mean, I would like to see him against Ruiz. Well, yeah, and that's a good measuring. That's a good yardstick of where he is.
I think that's more than a good yardstick of where he is. Ruiz's fundamentals are way above anything that Wilder's fought, barring Fury.
You know what though? To be honest, and sorry, for everyone listening, David's just joined us as well now. He's literally just gate crashed our conversation and just acted like he was here from the beginning. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, this is a two-way conversation. This guy's turned up.
Hey, you ain't gonna do me like that, man. You ain't gonna do me like that.
All right, David, yes, you can join in. Yeah, you can join in. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know if I want to see if Wilder comes back. I don't know if I want to see him go straight in against Ruiz. And the reason why I say that is because I don't know if it's fair. Like, I feel like he's kind of set up. Like, I feel like he's kind of set up to fail, to kind of just take a loss in the way that he took that loss. And I honestly do feel that loss has affected him mentally to some type of degree. Because, when Dillian White lost his last fight to Povetkin, we saw Dillian we saw him straight away. You know what I mean? He didn't hide from the cameras. He was straight back training. The same with Anthony Joshua. Yeah, he was in a foreign country when he lost that fight, and he went straight back out in the basketball courts in New York and that year. Do you know what I mean? Getting ripped by the public or whatever. He faced all the cameras. Deontay Wilder, at least from this side of things, it seemed like he's staying in the he stayed in the shadows for a very long time, and he might pop up once in a while to do interviews and some of the other YouTube channels. But overall, he's kind of been away. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? So I kind of feel like, whatever he's been working on with Malik Scott, I think it would be fair to allow him an opportunity to just try some of those things in a fight that isn't with a fighter like of Andy Ruiz's caliber or skill set.
Really, truthfully,
Okay.
Yeah. Here's my thing. Yeah. Here's my thing. When you set your stall out, yeah, you have to be held accountable by the standards you want to judge other people by. Yeah. At the end of the day, let's run down this list, shall we? Yeah. Fighting Bermane Stiverne twice, fighting Ortiz twice, cherry picking Fury because he was just coming off the couch. So for me, and not even just that as well, daring with his single belt, tell Anthony Joshua who he should fight before he could fight him. Be held accountable. Go and fight your stablemate, because you know what? You were ducking people that weren't PBC. Well, you got a guy there that's PBC with you, my friend. Fight him. Yeah. At the end of the day, this is the thing. I'm not prepared to give it to him both ways. Yes, the sport misses him because he's a charismatic guy. I mean, Fury's charismatic, so thankfully we still got a character. But it's good to have more than one character, especially people who on any given day can potentially hurt or beat each other. It's what makes the sport interesting. As well as that, though, you have the fact that this guy, has tried to be a shot caller with no real clout. You know what I'm saying? He didn't fight on PPV before Fury, though he was into his nearly 40th fight or something like that. By the time he fought Fury, he never had a fight on PPV once. He was the champion for 4 or 5 years and never had a pay-per-view fight. Nah, let him have a matchup. All right, I get he's got to work on stuff with his trainer. Fine, postpone. Work a bit longer, but get in the ring. We want to see you back in the ring. But not only do we want to see you back in the ring, now as fans we can say this is who we think he should fight. Because as a champion who wasn't putting himself out there really or testing himself against anybody, he was daring to shot call to the other guy that was going around collecting belts. I hear that.
But you know what? You made some fair points there, Dave. Yeah? And now you're drawing me into this conversation with you right now. Because I was going to keep this short, but let's go in it. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. My whole thing is this. Yeah. All the criticisms that you just leveled at Wilder, I agree with, and I understand your perspective. But I think that if we're going to be completely fair, If we're going to look at Wilder and say, Wilder needs to work on this, Wilder needs to work on that, Wilder needs to do this. If, and it's a very big if because it was only one clip that we saw, but if he's taken that on board and he's decided to go back and actually work on some of his boxing fundamentals and he's trying new things, then I think that we need to give him enough space to do that. Yeah, do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not saying that he shouldn't fight anyone of the caliber. I'm just saying that if that is what he's doing, if he's actually trying to relearn stuff, then what's wrong in as long as he's active? Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying? Because I don't want to see him come in, have a nothing fight, and after that wait another year or another 8 months again to see him have another nothing fight again. If he comes back, he has a quick fight just to get himself going again or whatever. Build a little bit more hype around him, Wilder's back, yada, yada, yada. And then after that, he's back active again and he's straight back in the ring again. Yeah, against someone who's, is a little bit more kind of, got something about them. Yeah. Then I haven't got a problem with that person. That's just me personally. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I would understand why he will come in there and not face someone like an Andy Ruiz straight away. Yeah,
honestly, I'm just being a bit of an arsehole. I agree with you.
Yeah, you are. And you know what as well? That's another thing as well, Dave. He's been off. When was the Fury fight? How long ago was that fight?
Yeah, it was last February, man.
Yeah, and he actually hasn't been doing anything. It doesn't seem like he's doing anything.
But the thing is, I think this is kind of what part of his problem actually is, though. Like, not being an arsehole right now, just being real. This is what his problem is. Like, as you said, Joshua was out front. Even Ruiz was out front. Yeah? Like, this guy, I'm not saying go in there and just try and take a bunch of L's because you got one. But I'm saying, all right, you've got your L, but show that that's not all there is to you. Yeah. You felt indestructible. You got your ass handed to you. You made a bunch of excuses. You looked pathetic doing it. Yeah, and now that's it. Yeah, we like, to be perfectly fair. I think the sport deserves better than that as well. I think the fans deserve better than that. Love him or hate him, because the same people that love or hate Adrian Broner will still watch him fight. The same people that loved or hate Floyd will still watch him fight. The same people who thought that what's his name again? Andre Ward was a boring fighter, still watched him fight. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, all these people got watched fight. People who thought Carl Froch was an arsehole still watched him fight. Why? Because in the day, you're fight fan first. You know what I mean? And you're not going to sit down there and just be a case of, I don't like that guy, I'm not watching him. If you're a fan of the sport, there's plenty of teams in football I can't stand. Yeah, I'm a football fan, I'm going to watch them. There's plenty of fighters in boxing I'm not really au fait with, I don't really particularly like, but you know what? I'm going to watch them because boxing, again, is one of my sports. I'm going to watch them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it really and truthfully, because of that, I feel that people that are his fans, that have been talking him up, yeah, they deserve more than this guy to go out of the whimper he went out with against Tyson Fury.
But it just shows you how much of a, like, and I've said this before, like the way that he's been moving in regards to the fights and stuff, he's been like, he's been moving like a coward in that he's cherry picked some of these guys who are essentially, a lot of the guys on his resume are bums, right? Blown up cruiserweights, if that. And he chose Fury because Fury will be a good name on his record, but wasn't at his best. And he got the shock of his life in the first fight, and he got an even bigger shock in the second fight when he got beaten from post to post, right? He did the same before.
Man, you know what? Sorry, yeah. You guys just couldn't help yourselves, could you? Like we had to do this, like breaking down Wilder into like just being a bum and that. Like, go on, just go ahead.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you've already said to me that I can't use his other names that I like to use. So, like,
okay.
I'm just trying to explain.
No, go ahead. Sorry, my bad to cut you off. Let's go.
Like, Wilder thinks he's smarter than everybody else, and he isn't. Right? He isn't. Right? Like David said, he's very charismatic though, and he's brought like a lot of attention into boxing, which is good. And he's done very well for himself, because because all he's got is his right hand. He's got no fundamentals to speak of, and he became heavyweight champion. So I give him all the plaudits for that. So he's done the absolute best, but he's been found out now. Yeah, and I'm very interested to see how he goes about things after this loss, because he got the beating of his life. Nobody's ever done to him what Fury did to him, right? And you can see that mentally he's quite frail because he hid himself away. And like you mentioned, Lawrence, that he, you know, AJ after his loss went straight out there, you know, faced everybody, took it on the chin. White did the same thing, addressed it, took it on the chin, whatever. Not Wilder. He got rid of his trainer who actually saved him. Him.
Started investigations. I know.
Yeah. Put something in his water. Like this guy's a joker. But
and even with different sport, UFC, like Jorge Masvidal. I mean, he just had like a really embarrassing loss as well. But you know, he's been out in public. He's been seeing the fans. You know, he's been in front of the camera, and you know,
I've got a lot of respect for him for doing that.
Even his post-fight interview said it all.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. He said he underestimated the guy. It's not a rivalry because he's been beaten twice. On to the next one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Go on, Dave. Go on, finish your point. Go on.
No, I'm just saying you kind of got to respect that stance. And from saying that, it was quite evident he wasn't going to go missing, because he, at that very moment, acknowledged where he was. Yeah,
he accepted it. Yeah.
You
know, and I just to round this all up now. I think with Wilder, why I felt interested in seeing him on the pads was because now we're going to see what type of champion he is, or what type of champion he can be, if he is one at all. Because, you know, we want to see guys, you know, maintain a dominant streak. We want to see guys, you know, maintain their win streak. But for me, winning, I mean, I don't want to say winning isn't everything, but when a guy takes a loss, it tells you another side of the story. It tells you about, you know, who they are within themselves. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, about their character. That's correct. Yeah. That's right. That's, you know, you helped me find the words there. Yeah. So it's like seeing Wilder come back. This is going to tell us about his character, and it's not too late for Wilder cementing his own type of legacy. Yeah, depending on what the second chapter of his story, of what his story is.
Yeah. So are we really ending this already? I only just got here, man.
Bro, you got it late. You got it late.
No, I'm playing. No, I definitely want to see him back. I mean, I think I caught you say what we've seen so far looks good, even though Malik is really overdoing it with the right hand reaction. But what we've seen so far is good, because as you said earlier, the changes that we're asking for from him, it looks like he's trying to work on. So it'll be interesting to see him put it into motion, and whether he'll be in the mix again. I think the heavyweight division kind of needs him to be in the mix again. And in terms of top level heavyweights, there are only really 4 or 5. There are good ones around, but there are only 4 or 5. So it would be good to have him back in the mix again, and hopefully start getting people fighting each other now instead of all these politics, man.
We'll know more once he has his next fight, and well, not even the next fight. We'll know more once he has his first serious fight. Then we'll see what he's made of. So, you know, it's I'm quite keen to see that. So it's exciting time to see who's back.
So this is myself, LL, and Tunde, and late arriver, Dave, David. And this is the Tumpboxnkick. Sorry, Dave, I've been trying to say Tumpboxnkick now rather than saying TBK. I'm being a bit extra, but this is the TBK podcast, and we're out.
This is the TBK podcast.